It's so sad that a lot of people don't really recognize the importance of certain documents, certain procedures that should take place, certain things that should be handled while you are alive and here on earth to oversee anything that you may be leaving behind when you leave earth. Now, a lot of things people just don't like to talk about for some reason. But these issues, these things are relevant and they are important. Now, what am I talking about? First and foremost, if you don't want your loved ones in court bickering, fighting, grasping, and gnawing at whatever assets you may have had when you were here on earth and alive and well, if you don't want them in court fighting over that stuff, let's talk about, um, excuse me, let's talk about living trust, revocable living trust. I went to a seminar yesterday and they were talking about the importance of having a trust in place, revocable living trust. And so what that does is it keeps your family members out of court upon your departure from this earth. If you have said assets, there are so many homeowners that I've noticed that don't have their property, their assets in a trust. Either they just simply were not educated, it's not talked about enough, people just don't think it's a priority. They buy a property, they're happy-go-lucky and on with life. Same for life insurance. That's another thing many people don't have. And then when you have the loved one pass away, we have people who have to start GoFundMe and all of these other crowdfunding or fish fries or food sales in order to bury their loved one because they just didn't have the proper documentation in place. So all of these things became extremely important to me. They came on my radar after I got diagnosed with the autoimmune illness. So I can understand why people don't really pay attention to a lot of these things. But let me enlighten you on this though. I did at least have life insurance. And my husband at the time did have Aflac, believe it or not. Do you know how many people are on jobs? I was one. When the benefits enrollments open up and they have all of these different benefits for you, so many people opt out. Oh, I'm not going to ever need that Aflac. I'm not going to ever need that life insurance through them. I'm not going to ever need this. I'm not going to ever need that. I beg to differ. You definitely not definitely, there could possibly be a time where you would have benefited from having those extra insurances in place, so to speak. That Aflac came in handy when I had my diagnosis. Extremely handy, and it kicked in. It did what it was supposed to do. So kudos to my ex-husband for being smart enough, and we were young. And so that's what I'm saying. Young people, a lot of people, again, me too, opted out of that 401k. That's because when you're not educated in those areas, when nobody's really taught you, then you're not thinking all you want is your paycheck. All you want are those funds, that money, that check, and go to do what it is you're going to do with that money. Shopping, pay your rent, your bills. And the important things are not thought about. They're just overlooked. So back to the trust. If you own assets, please talk to an attorney. And let me do a disclaimer. I'm not an attorney. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just having a talk. You just talking with Sam. Welcome to Talks with Sam. And I'm just giving you education on things that you may be overlooking, things that I have overlooked in the past, things that I know other people are not taking serious, or they just simply don't know. It's just never been brought up. So hopefully this video gets out to enough people and can put on the light bulb for them. If you have a property, you may say, oh shoot, my house is not in a trust. What is that all about? Go and research and look up the trust. Because what happens is this: if you have assets and you have not placed them in a trust and you pass away, your family is going to have to go to court and go through what's called probate, which is going to be much more costly than if you took care of things on the front end. I'm all about taking care and handling business on the front end. That way it's less turmoil and headache to deal with on the back end. So imagine dealing with that. That can be a total nightmare, very time consuming. Now, a lot of people get living trusts confused with wills, or people think that they have a will in place and that covers everything. They might say, oh, in my will, I left my house to my son. Somebody can go in and contest that and override that will, all depending on what the circumstances are. Opposed to it being in a trust, that's more ironclad. And what they do include in the trusts is something called a pour over will. So things that you have in the will, like your jewelry, I don't know, maybe like your car, little other assets, smaller scale, are included in the will and then it's added into the trust. So anyway, I encourage everybody that comes across this channel in this video to look into a trust. Whatever state that you're in, there are a lot of attorney offices that may offer free consultation, and you can get that information. So if you have assets, I strongly suggest that you do that. Now, on to insurance, life insurance. A lot of people feel like they can't afford life insurance. There are many, I'm not a life insurance agent either, so disclaimer. But a lot of people, there are a lot of different insurance vehicles that you can look into and see what suits your needs and what fits your budget. So talk to a licensed life insurance agent. They'd love to talk to you. I guarantee you that. They'll give you all the free information that you need. I guarantee you that. So that's something else you want to look into, because things are just moving at a rapid pace nowadays. And you don't want to get caught with your pants down. That's the easiest way I can put it. You do not want to be caught with your pants down. If you are caring for a loved one, let's talk about powers of attorney. Disclaimer again, I am not an attorney. I am just sharing information that I am privy to, or that I've come across and that I've experienced, or I've seen other people experience. Powers of attorney. If you have someone in your family and they become incapacitated for whatever reason, and you don't have power of attorney, how can you handle their finances? How can you make medical decisions for them? If they're beyond 18, you cannot. That is why it's important, people don't think about this, to have powers of attorney. People don't even know. I'm the parent of an 18-year-old. I'm the parent of several. 18 and up, let's just say that. Because they are adults, because at the age of 18, you are considered an adult. If something, God forbid, were to happen and my child or children could not make decisions for themselves, I can't just step in and say, Oh, well, I'm her mother, so I want to do X, Y, and Z, or X, Y, and Z should be done. If there is nothing in writing somewhere saying that I have the authority to do these things or make these decisions, guess what? I can't do it. Then guess what I got to do? Because I wasn't proactive. I'm being reactive now because I'm on the back end. I just told you we don't want to be on the back end. So in order for me to be proactive and to make sure things are in place as they should be, I am going to have powers of attorney put in place, and vice versa on me. I have to have someone that I trust, and please make sure it's somebody that you trust. I know it's slim pickings nowadays. I get that part. So prayerfully, you have somebody that you could trust with your life, with your finances, with your health, should this ever come up and be an issue. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Don't think just because you are the parent that you can just step in and make decisions. You cannot. So I strongly suggest that you research and look up powers of attorney. As I've just stated before, I am going to make sure that I handle that with my daughter and that it's handled for me with my daughter. And make sure you're verbally letting the other individual know verbally what your wishes are, but it's all would all be listed on paper as well. If you have an extended family member, an uncle, an aunt that may not have any children, may not have anybody, do suggest this to them as well. Because again, I'm not for doing anything on the back end, because guess what happens? If you don't have that already in place, guess where you're going to wind up at? I'll wait. Yeah, court. You're going to have to go to court and get conservatorship. Who has time to want to be doing all of that? You in an emergency situation, you got to get down here to the court. You got to petition for this conservatorship. And what a headache. When I'm telling you that you need to get it done now. Like now. Like yesterday. That should be done. Because these things are important. I can't express to you enough how important these things are. And so like I said, I went to the seminar yesterday, and all of these things just started resonating because I've known these things for quite a while now. So even myself, I'm a little behind schedule because my daughter will be 19 this year. So I'm a little behind schedule, but guess what? Today, that paperwork will be put together, notarized, put in the envelope, and in a safe space. So that, because I listen, I don't know about you, but I'm not for going down to these courts. That's not on my agenda. So take care of these things ahead of time. Look at your family dynamic. See who would be the best fit for you. Please know, like I said, just because that is your child, just because that is your relative, it does not automatically give you the right to make decisions for them in case anything happens. I tried to tell my son, he's off in the Army, but you know these young people, they don't listen to us, do they? So all they gotta do is just stay prayerful that everything stays copacetic with him. But anyway, so just to recap, look at, if you have assets, any kind of assets, look into a living trust. Do your research on that. Do your research with respect to your will. It's fine to have a will, but just know that a will, you would still have to go through court if anybody contested what was in that will. So if you have the living trust, then you're set. You're good, or your family is anyway. They don't have to go through probate. Probate is what's going to happen if you do not have that living trust and you go bye-bye. and somebody contests something, because you know, like I know, a lot of families, when someone leaves this earth and they had any kind of assets, the claws are gonna come out. Everybody gonna start bickering and fighting and saying, no, she wanted me to have this, no, she wanted me to have that. But or he wanted me to have this or that. But if it's already written, nobody can contest it. Now, the cold part is, you have estranged children or estranged family members, and you want to be catty about it, and you have your will, I mean your trust, and in that trust you leave that person $1. Ooh, I mean, that speaks louder than anything I know. That speaks louder than leaving them nothing. That person knows you was not messing with them, but they probably weren't messing with you either when you was alive. So I mean, hey, fair exchange, no robbery, right? So anyway, the trust, the will, the power of attorney. Get yourself your powers of attorney. Again, make sure it is somebody that you can trust. And you can always revise it, change it, cancel it, or whatever, as long as you're coherent. But there are different types also, so do your research on your powers of attorney. And again, reminder, just because you are the parent of someone does not automatically grant you permission to make financial and health medical decisions for that individual. The 18 and up, it's a no-go. Under 18, of course, they're minors. And life insurance. Check your life insurance. If you have it already, double check it, see when it expires, make sure it's still good. See if you still have all the contact people. And I also suggest this. I'm a very organized person. Have all of your documents in one said area. Get a binder, 3-hole punch those documents, section it out, and tell it to somebody. Do a designated person or two if you can. Keep them in a safe place. We keep things on our computers. These computers, they go down, they go out. I'm old school. I believe in printing out documents and having hard copies. So do 2 or 3 binders with all of those important documents, important contact information, and have it in a place where you know where it is. Have it accessible. Let someone know where these documents are, because there's nothing worse than something happening to you and then your family scrambling around trying to figure out what's what. How do I pay this gas bill? How do I pay this light bill, this water bill? How do I pay this rent or this mortgage for my loved one? How do I keep the ball rolling, once they can't do it for themselves, or they leave here? So take some time, especially nowadays. Take some time to organize these things, put these things together, and leave them somewhere for your family members. Again, if you have single family members that have no children, really look out for them as well. If you have disabled family members that don't really have anybody else, look out for them as well. So just look out for yourself and your loved ones. So I hope this video has given some information. Again, I am not a licensed attorney at all, licensed or unlicensed. I am not a physician, and I'm not a insurance agent. I'm just bringing you information. Reach out to those individuals. Go online, do some research. Again, a lot of these places offer free consultation. So reach out, get that free information, get you some binders, start getting these documents together, and enjoy and live your life knowing that your family and your loved ones are going to be okay if anything happens to you. We have to teach them. So I'm here to teach and tell you, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done. Most of the work is done. I have a few little things that I need to do, but I just wanted to come do a video and share it with you. Give the video a thumbs up. I appreciate you. share this important information with somebody. I don't know what the title is going to be, so don't get mad if it's clickbaity, but I have to do what I need to do in order for individuals to catch this message. So bear with me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.